Happy Women's History Month. I am Ben Wills, and this month's Women in Tobacco segment is sponsored by JR Cigars. Guys, every year, every day, we talk about how women in tobacco is very important. We talk about inclusion. We talk about the faces, the hard work, and the ethic that it takes for this industry to be upheld. And today, we get to talk to one of those women who are very, very important to the joy that we spoke today. So today we welcome the right and the left hand of Manuel Quesada, Raquel Quesada. Hi,
Hi,
Raquel.
how are you? I'm
How
so
are you?
excited to see you.
It's always a pleasure. I can never get enough.
I know we could be here forever.
It seems like that we have, right? I just saw you at
Yes,
the
and got to
infamous
spend some time.
Procigar Festival in the Dominican
I
Republic.
know, that's amazing.
So listen, let me start off since I just saw you and we just fellowshipped in Santiago. The Association of Dominican Cigar Manufacturers, better known as Procigar,
Portugal.
celebrated 30 years. Can you please expand a little bit about what that committee and association stands for and where the term pro cigar came from?
Comes from. Well, I was talking to my dad because he was telling me all about it. That Procigar comes from Asociación de Productores of Dominican Republic, it's like producers of Dominican Republic. So they
Okay.
just like shorten up the name for Pro Cigar, like producers of cigars.
Cigars.
Um, so basically, that's where it comes from, and it was started in 1992 with a group of most important cigar makers in the Dominican Republic, and my dad is one of the founders, together with Hemke Kellner, that we all know from before Davidoff, and Angel Daniel Nunez, Mr. Sejas, that used to run Altares, and a few other members. And they just one day decided that they had to do this in order to the Dominican Republic to be recognized as cigar country. So basically,
Cigar
that's what.
country.
So, uh-huh. And then they just started getting together and their ideas. It's really funny because they have stories about how they were like in a room for hours and hours, and, like telling off each other and having all these ideas together, and some good and some not so good, and
Mhm.
then it just like started like that. And now look at that, 30 years after, all that we have achieved as a group, and as we're competitors, but when we get together as Procigar, we are just working together as a country and as brothers and sisters, and all together with one same north. It's to
I
be like promoting and protecting the cigar
mhm.
industry.
Absolutely. I've been a witness to that. It is a very beautiful
Exactly.
sight to see. So 30 years,
Yes.
how does the mission from 30 years ago, from the stories that you've been told, uh, to now, how does it differ? How has that
Well,
evolved into what we see today?
the mission, I think, is like very, very clear. But the world has changed, things have changed, and obviously some things have changed. But I think that the mission is very clear, and as I said before, is to protect and promote the reputation of our cigars, our tobacco also, because it's not only cigars. We also have a lot of
Mhm.
um, farms and a lot of cosecheros, as we call them.
What's the chicken?
Um, so at the end, that mission of promoting and protecting the cigar industry is the mission itself. Even though, like things have changed, but that's the main mission that I think it prevails. And it's very important to every single one of us, because even though we're like competitors, as I said, when we talk about Pro Cigar, we are very, very united, and we work
Absolutely.
together strongly. And that's very important because, like sometimes it's not that easy, because out there, there's a lot going on and there's a lot of brands. But every individual one of us, even though has different blends with different, profiles and everything. Like
Hmm.
as Procigar, we work together for that to be like the best cigars in the world to be
Absolutely.
recognized as.
Speaking of working together, there are 11
11,
or
yes.
11 brand
Active
members. Oh,
active is 11,
okay.
but then there's passive ones, and I could mention some. I don't know them all, but cigar rings is one, international packaging is one. Like everybody
Yes.
has a
Hmm.
part of the Pro Cigar Festival. As you know, like some make the bands, some make the boxes.
Hmm.
So there are a lot of the ones that do the processing of the tobacco, like Inatab, Domitab. All of these people also are like passive members, but active ones are 11.
Okay. So we have
And you
general.
and we can mention General, Davidoff,
Yes.
Altares, Quesada, Fuente.
Hmm.
There's PDR, a la Tabacalera La Palma, which is Hochi Mango,
Hoji.
Quesada Cigars, and I think I
Yes.
mentioned them all. Did I miss
LFD.
some?
You said La Flor Dominicana. You know, it's Americans.
Oh, and La Flor,
We just LFD.
LSD La Flor.
Just
I think I missed La Flor. I'm sorry, Lito.
every year in February, Pro Cigar Festival takes place. You get to indulge in factory tours,
Tours,
tobacco farm tours.
farm
There
tours.
are
No,
galas,
and the
parties, and
one-on-ones.
socials, and the one-on-ones. I participated for the first time, the field day.
Yes. Oh,
To
that's
see,
right. I think this is the second year or the third, I believe, for the field day. That came out because the thing is like after the Thursday party, which is the monument party,
yes.
everybody kind of gets a little around and off. So on Friday morning, it was kind of tough to get everybody to go to the tours and the fields. So we said, like, let's might as well get everybody in one place, in one farm, and you could get to tour the farm if you want,
Hmm.
or you could just hang out with all of the key players, or you could just play other games. There was a trivia game this time that I hosted with Don Paul, which was really fun because you get to ask questions about the Pro Cigar 30 years ago, 15 years ago, or the festival, or, well, for example, I remember one that my dad went to U.S. Army, like who was the member that went. So all these like different things, and people get really involved, and also they get to learn the whole history of all these different players. So like, what's the car at Fuentes factory brand?
Right.
So it was really interactive, and I think it's really fun. And a lot of people participated, so
Y-
it was nice.
So Raquel, do you sit on the committee for the Pro Cigar? And what's your position
Um,
and what's your,
well, there's only me and Nirka as women
yes, you and
on
Nerica.
this. Me and Nirka. So Casada has one seat on the
Hmm.
board. So we get to have meetings every month, and we get to participate on what's going on, what's happening not only in Dominican Republic but internationally, and we get to debate and have different opinions and come to and also talk about Pro Cigar, and we have cigar nights also. We have other events going on. So we pretty much have a lot of participation on what's going on the Pro Cigar committee, per se. So no, we're active, and as my dad comes in and out, I'm there for him. He also has another seat because he's a founder.
A
So
founding
there's a
member.
founder member seat, and also a factory member seat. So I'm the one representing both for now.
Yes, yes, and you represented
So
wonderfully this year in the absence of America.
of America too. I know I was the only woman and on those pictures and all those videos. So
It's
I'm missing
fantastic.
her. I need
Yeah,
her back.
maybe next year. Maybe
Yeah,
next year.
I hope so.
So Raquel, you obviously work at Quesada. Talk to us about your role there as brand director and the position you had before.
Well, it's been 23 years on this journey. Basically,
Congratulations,
oh, thank
23 years.
you. Yeah, I think I'm going to be celebrating 25 soon.
Yes.
Because time flies, it's flying away between our eyes. So I used to live in Boston. I graduated here in Dominican Republic undergrad, and then I did a grad school program in Boston for 4 years. And when I came back, I was just learning the beginning, the process. And my dad always says that you have to be like, you have to go through every single stage of the process. So when you're like on the top, you know what's going on the bottom. So nobody can tell you what's
Absolutely.
going on, and you're like, oh well, what's going on now? You really know what's going on. So when I started, I did everything. I made cigars, I classified tobacco, I classified colors. Um, I mean, classifying colors for me was like one of the most difficult things because like your eyes go, and I was like, I really have to do this. And he was like, yeah, you really have to do this. And I spent days and months and probably a whole year like on this on and ongoing thing. And then now that I go through the tables of the ladies classifying the colors, I'm like, this is not going, this is not going. So my eyes are like so active and so like it comes back so fast. And I really appreciate now, like,
Yeah, of course.
like all the things he did for me at that time that I didn't understand. Um, then after that, I was more involved with cigar makers. Then one day, he was the one that did all the blending. So at one point, he would tell me what to do, and like with a little paper, he would go, "Oh, do this, and do like half a leaf of this and one leaf of that." So one day, I kind of tweaked his blend without him knowing, and it's really a funny story because he's really him. He has a character. He has like a strong. He's not that easygoing. I mean, everybody has their own good sides, and that's it. But he was tough. He was a tough dad, and he knows because I've told him many times. I love him to pieces, but it's reality. So I just like dropped the cigar. I ran away, and at that time we were at another cigar factory, not the one we're now. That we spent 30 years in that factory, 38 years, and there was like a speaker phone in the whole factory. And I'm telling you, this is like a two-story place. It's huge, and these speakers were like really loud. And it would go Raquel Quesada 231. That was his extension. And you had to run, and no matter where you were, I mean, you could be like kilometers away, and you had to run because if you were not there, like in 2 seconds, he would really go like ballistic. So, so I ran, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in trouble. He's like, what are you doing to my cigar? And I'm like, well, I kind of tricked it a little. It's like, are you really serious? It's like, you know what, this is really good. So at that time, my cigar like was the one in the box, and then the box said made by Raquel and Manuel Quesada. And that was like one of the Fonseca Cubano Limitados. That was the first Cubano, and that was a really successful brand that we had for years.
Wow.
So that was really like my ticket to, success.
Yes. He's like, I can
And
give
that's
you
when I
more
started.
control.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, because my dad is like, you have to prove, I mean, you can make mistakes, and he was, good about that, but you have to like prove that, what you're doing is it
Solid.
works.
Absolutely.
So at the end, so I went through the cigar makers, and then I started blending a little more, and then I started purchasing all the tobacco, which I loved because I would go to the people, the suppliers, and I would just like mark all my bales with my initials, and they would call my father like, "Don't send me the little blogger. She's gonna bankrupt me. she's
No.
gonna I'm gonna go bankrupt because she comes here and I give me 60 bales, and I will mark every single one of them with my initials with a marker that I knew it was mine." Because then at the end, they would just like send me stuff that I didn't order. So it's like, you know
Mm.
what? This is not working out. We have to make this work because I was the one that was going to get,
Raquel,
busted.
come to 321.
Exactly. So at the end, I was like, you know what? This is what's working, and and then he'll call. I mean, he loves me to pieces now, and they do. But at that time, was like, do not send her because she's gonna make myself go bankrupt. So then I purchased cigars, and then I started more like working with the private labels, like Michael and
Mhm.
people in Europe, and it was just like kind of developed easily one thing to another. Family businesses are not that easy to work
What are some of the
sometimes.
what are some of the challenges with that?
Well, it's your father, and then you're like he's your father at home, but then he's your boss at work. But then when you go back to home, then work gets involved. It's a lot of things at stake that you have to have a really good character and mood to kind of, not to let it get to you. And the relationship per se, because at the end he's
Mhm.
your dad, but he's also your boss. And then it gets kind of complicated and mixed up. So you have to like separate. So we made a deal that when we are Sundays at home, with the family, no work, like no work related issues. Because then
Boundaries.
we would just like, yeah, we just like get involved so much. And then my mom would get upset. And then, the nephews and the children, everybody was like there and it was kind of, and it went crazy. So that was like something that we separated. Like if we're home, no work, just, family oriented and having fun and talk about other things that we like and whatever. Um, so that's like one of the main things that I think are the worst. Um, but then, and then since he was like so strict, he's very perfectionist. And then, and it was never enough.
Never enough.
Like you were like struggle and struggle and struggle. But then let me tell you something. One day, after a lot of years, maybe like 20 or 15, one day he calls me to his office and he's like, you know what, just sit in my lap, and just like, I really want to thank you for everything you've done. And you've done such a great job. And I'm
Oh,
really so proud of you. And then we start crying. So at the end, it pays off, even though you
yes.
think it would never pay off. But I think it's been a great journey working together.
Yeah,
Obviously ups and downs, everybody has them. But I think it's been more ups than downs at
that's
the end.
that's that's lovely to
And I've
hear.
learned so, and I've learned so much from him, and it's been a great journey. Seriously,
Lovely.
I
So,
can't I can't complain.
well, we love Papa Q and
Oh
all of
yeah.
it, and all of his strictness. So talk to me about the brands that you carry. So, you have Casa Magna.
Yes, well, Casablanca is like the signature brand because we won like number one cigar of the year in 2008 by Cigar
Hmm.
Aficionado, and that was really big for us. It changed like a whole 300 degrees. So Casa Magna Colorado, which was made in Plasencia at the
Hmm.
time, the Robusto size was the one that won the prize. So then afterwards, when we were celebrating our 35th anniversary for the factory that was established in 1974. So when we were celebrating 35 years, we, as like me, my sister, my cousins, and like also TJ, like we worked together at that time. We decided that we were gonna make a Quesadsa cigar for that celebration without my father knowing, because he never agreed to put his last name, because he said like it was a lot of responsibility. It was very, he had to be very, so he never wanted to put the Quesada last name on the brand. So we said, you know what, this is the opportunity. So we went to New York at the Nat Sherman store at that time, the townhouse,
Hmm.
and we put it together this huge event with these beautiful boxes of 35, and we made a blend that even Michael helped out too on that end, and we came out with this amazing cigar. It was box pressed, and we launched it at the townhouse without my father knowing. So if he wanted to kill us, it was
Yeah.
impossible because we were like in front of all these people with an amazing event. Like my mother came and my cousins and family, everybody together. It was an amazing, and he
Raquel,
was really happy.
please tell me. I mean, I know at some point he was happy and proud deep down inside, but I need to know with his that moment, that moment where you introduced that cigar. What did his face
Wow.
do? What did he
Oh my God.
say?
I remember we had like really big trays and
Hmm.
all the cigars, to hand out to people. And
Yes.
his eyes were like, and his mouth was like, he couldn't even believe it. But then, I mean, I had a speech, Michael had a speech. So it's very, emotional. He got really emotional. And that was like, and also another ticket to get the Casala brand,
Hmm.
like launched. And then we had other Casala cigars came out, like the España and the Reserva Privada and the, what was the name of the one? The Julio Alvarito. I can't remember that one. That was like another, we launched that one at the Procigar, one of the festivals. It was a memory of my uncle and my cousin and
Yes.
my and the general manager and my grandfather. Um, the My grandfather passed away old, but then the other ones passed away on an accident that we
Okay.
had, on an
Mhm.
airplane accident.
Yes.
So we paid tribute. It was the Quesada Tributo tribute.
Ah, yes.
The Quesada Tributo. So we have had many Quesadas come up in the world. Together with all the Casamagnas too, like really gas, like this one, the Connecticut that I'm smoking. This is one of my favorite ones. Um, I know this barber ball is amazing, but let me tell you the Quesada Serra Privada, which is the same blend, but on the Connecticut
That's the one you were
wrapper,
smoking. Yes.
I I love it.
Will we be seeing a Quesada cigar, JR cigar collaboration
Oh,
in the future? Is it
well, let me tell
possible?
you. Well. I'll give you a little hint that I've been
Really?
smoking some samples, but I can't say anything else. So stay tuned.
Come on, Raquel. You gotta
but
give
I
me a little.
but
You gotta give
no
me one
no
more tidbit. Just a little bit more.
I did. I told you we are going to be collaborating in a few projects.
Come on. Is it gonna be a
Um,
Maduro, a Habano? You thinking about
I
another
don't know.
Connecticut? Like,
I don't
can
know.
we
I
get a
don't know.
Lancero? Can we get a JR, case out of Lancero? Like,
Oh my
fill me
God,
out.
we have had like such a great relationship with JR since the beginning.
Really?
Um, and yes, it's since forever, since I remember, and I've been there for 23 years. And then my father,
Yes.
in the beginnings,
As a cigar lover, what do you think JR Cigars has meant to the cigar industry?
I think they had a great path. I mean, as I said, I've been involved with JR since my beginnings, so they come a long way. Like giving the cigar smokers great opportunities to smoke different profiles of cigars, um, giving them, throughout the stores, having a lot of opportunities of different blends and different brands. Um, so I think it's been great. It's been a great journey, and great opportunity for the cigar smokers and for us as cigar factories too, because we get involved together and we have these projects that come up that are great for us, and also to share the profiles of JR and the profiles of each factory, to work together and blend things that are good for their community.
Absolutely. I agree. 100%. Before we leave, I want to talk about something a little personal. You,
Personal. You've been cheating on me. Oh.
I would never cheat on
Oh.
you, my Dominican sister.
That's for sure.
You have a personal project in the pipeline.
Oh
You have
yes.
your own
I have a
collection.
few,
You have a few,
but
of course, but you're holding back and you're making me work. You're making me sweat over here for all of the goodies. Okay. So you have a beautiful ashtray that'll be debuting soon.
Yes, it's right here.
Oh, is it? What is it called? It's called Raquel
Yes.
Quesada Blue.
Yes, Raquel shades of blue. Because the thing is, like,
Shades
that's my favorite color.
of-
And also, our beautiful ocean here in Dominican Republic and the island has different shades of blue. So when you burned the ashtrays, and the material that we're making, it comes out in different blues. So no other one is like every single one is different one from the other.
Beautiful.
So the shades of blue come out like light blue, medium blue, dark blue. So that was like my inspiration on this ashtray. So you can buy it through my page, my Raquel Quesada official. And we're just starting, but I'm really excited and see how it goes.
So how did you get into what made you want to create an ashtray for yourself?
Well, it's something that this is a friend of mine that she's an artist here in Dominican Republic, and she makes beautiful art, different items. She made for the house, like plates and coffee cups and things like that. And she always wanted to make something for the cigar industry. And since we're friends, we just like started talking about it, and we made like a
A pact?
like a joint, yeah, like together we worked. Since she's the artist and I'm the cigar girl, we just like came together and started talking about it, And here has like my signature, uh, like uh like I don't know
You
how you
ever?
say it. It's like a technique.
Oh yeah, engraved.
Yeah, it had like engraved in the
Well,
ashtray.
well, let's see it. Hold it up.
Of,
Let me
of
see.
course. No, it has,
Oh,
there you
that's
go.
nice. I see all the blues.
Yes. So we'll see how it goes, and then you never know. Maybe Raquel Quesada cigar comes out soon.
We're waiting. I'm waiting.
I'm working.
You're working. It's good to hear.
Yes.
So tell everyone in the JR universe and the cigar community where we can find you.
Well, you can find me at Raquel Quesada official and on Instagram and on Facebook. And we we're more active on Instagram, but it's all linked, so you can also see me through Facebook. But Instagram is the place to go look for me.
All right. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to our first
Go
Women's
follow.
History Month. Yes, go follow Raquel Quesada and Quesada
Thank you so
Cigars.
much, man. You're always great.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
It
Thank you
was lovely to see
for being
you.
a vital heartbeat
You're
in this
great.
industry. We really appreciate it.
Kisses and hugs to everybody. And thank you, JR.
Thank
Keep
you.
the good work.